keynote address, which is going to be on auto retail and GST. And to talk on this very important topic, we would have with us Mr. S.K. Rahman, Principal Commissioner, Preventive Commissionerate, New Delhi. In his capacity as former Joint Secretary of the GST Council, Mr. Rahman has assisted the GST Council to really make recommendations about GST to the Union government as well as to the state governments. He has also assisted the Council in taking important decisions in the Council meetings where he was constantly engaged with ministers and officers. He also assisted in organizing and conducting GST National Conference. Officers from center and states participated in that. Mr. Rahman has also helped in organizing and conducting GST core group meetings and also looked after all legal matters of GST Council Secretariat and coordination of GST matters pertaining to center and states. Mr. S.K. Rahman, serving as an IRS officer, of course, has had a long list of doing this critical work. He has worked for 25 years in the field and has also served in several postings, including the ones in Tuticorin, Chennai, Mumbai, Guntur, and Vijayawada, before he came to Delhi in July 2017. As far as GST Council related work is concerned, Mr. Rahman in fact contributed in Officers Committee as member of Law Committee, where he was drafting and editing the circulars, amendments to rules pertaining to GST policy, law, procedures, etc., where his contribution was immense, and he has a huge experience really in handling that critical area of expertise. In the GST Council, he also represented GSTC in Group of Ministers on Real Estate and Group of Ministers on Revenue Analysis, Officers Committee as member of Fitment Committee dealing with rates and notifications. Mr. S.K. Rahman brings with him experience in the field, and of course he's the right person to really take us through this first keynote address on auto retail and GST. And may I also remind you that at the end of this session we are also going to have a quick 5-minute Q&A session, so it would be really great if you could keep your notepads and pencils handy so that you can make your questions, and then once Mr. Rahman is done with his presentation, we can all take up some quick questions from the audience here and of course conclude the first session. Sir, I'm going to hand it over to you. Mr. S.K. Rahman, please.
How do I handle presentation?
I think you can use maybe on that one. You can also work on the stage if you wish.
Very good evening to all of you. I congratulate FADA for conducting this kind of first ever session on the two-wheeler and three-wheeler for the sake of entire India. And I should thank for giving us an opportunity to present the GST point of view also, because for all the matters, the taxation is one of the important aspects in profit making. And as you are aware, GST has come into picture from 1st July 2017, and prior to that we used to pay service tax, VAT, and in case you are a manufacturer, you will be ending up with central excise duty. So what my intention in this 10 minutes is that to quickly make you run through some of the issues that have come up in last almost 4.5 or less than 5 years of GST rollout. I will quickly run through presentation, and afterwards I will be looking forward for any questions that you are having on these issues. If you talk of in the entire automobile sector, there are a lot of players that are involved: OEM, dealers, and end customers. The issues involved are many, but today being a auto retail thing, I would like to focus upon few aspects of these. Issues are many. In fact, I have listed around 12 issues, but I would like to focus upon 3 issues that have recurrently come to our knowledge, which probably would be of some interest to you. And in fact, when some audit is being conducted for you, probably these issues are bound to come up. First one I would like to take up is about supply, whether it is split or not. Meaning, in case if you are doing servicing, if you are supplying some spare parts along with the servicing, so the parts will have to be charged at a rate of GST rate of 28%, CGST plus SGST, and servicing portion you will have to charge at the rate of 18% to the customer. Even though it is given as a combined service, the reality as per the law, it looks that the supply in the GST Act is defined as a single item, supply of goods or services or both. So because of that, a single rate of duty may be charged, but the Government of India has made separate for the goods as well as services. Many of the people from the trade come to us and saying that it is one supplier, one location, one customers, one vehicle, one invoice, one inspecting and testing and one payment. But why do you have to pay 2 different rates for the goods and services? For this to understand why the government has to do, so I would like to just touch upon what is called composite supply, what is called mixed supply. Some of you may be aware, composite supply is one where goods and services are 2 different supplies are combined together as a natural combination. The principal supply of them, whatever the rate applicable is charged. Whereas in mixed supply, the 2 different supplies are clubbed and 2 different rates are to be applied, but the rate which is higher would be subjected to that. So because of certain constraints as defined in the Act, we had to do that, and I think some amount of inconvenience may be there, plus you will have to bear with that for the time being. In case you want any change, obviously you can always give some suggestions. But I am here to tell you what is the reality so that you should understand the law in a right manner. Second issue I will discuss is about a discount or incentive. Now here again, when a car manufacturer supplies car to a dealer, he charges certain amount and the car is supplied to the dealer. Afterwards, for promoting the sales, he may give what is called financial credit note. The amount for which it is charged could be 1 lakh, financial credit note could be 10,000. The GST that would have paid could be on 1 lakh and the GST amount is not disturbed. And the issue of this financial credit note has been discussed by CBIC and Government of India in one main circular that is called 7th March 2019 circular. I will request, instead of just leaving the GST matters to some people, would like also to just quickly go through that. It is not difficult to understand. The second circular that has been given 28th June, it has been withdrawn by 3rd October. So we can ignore the 28th June circular and 3rd October circular and focus upon the first circular that is of 7th March 2019. Now to put brief into the content of this circular, it talks about free supplies. It talks about buy one get one free, that when you supply a 2-wheeler or a car, you give certain accessories free. It also talks about buy more and get some more, and it also talks about the financial credit note, which I mentioned it to you, you are legally authorized to issue. Now next issue, the circular which I said is not there, should not be shown by any person to you, and that's why I brought it to you to make you understand. There are certain advanced rulings that have come in this regard in support of you, I have quoted here, which will support your argument that financial credit notes without disturbing GST can be issued. The third issue that I thought I will flag with you is about exchange. Now this exchange is something one has to very clearly understand. If you give let us say you are a seller, customer is buying. If he gives a old car customer, then he can get some concession with respect to the new car. So this has been some of the practice that has been adopted. In this regard, again I would like you to take it to the basic definition of supply in GST that says which involves supply includes exchange. And if we have mentioned in our rule 27 that when an exchange is done, what should be the rate adopted? That is, in case you are giving your old two-wheeler and taking a new two-wheeler, what will the cost that will be reduced to the extent that if the old two-wheeler is sold, has to be incorporated and GST has to be charged. There are two different supplies here and two different charges will have to be done. We have explained this in detail in rule 27 and I will put it in a simple chart to make you understand. If OMV, that is market value of that particular old two-wheeler that you are giving is available, then it will be directly taken, that OMV value will be taken. If it is not available, what is the cash that is being paid and what in kind that you are giving, that cost also will be added up. So this is how the valuation and GST is done on that. Next issue I would like to discuss is about the demo cars or demo vehicle, whatever you call. So many of the people have this doubt saying that whether we are using this demo vehicle, whether ITC, input tax credit, can be availed or not. Because the demo vehicle is given by the car manufacturer to the dealer and dealer keeps it for certain period. Then afterwards probably he sells it at a cost that is depreciated cost at that time. Here again I would like to take it to the section 17 which allows you the ITC. Here the section 17 says that in case you are procuring certain vehicles which you are selling it in further supply, then only the ITC is to be taken. So it says that ITC is not to be taken in case you are not selling that vehicle, in case you are keeping it with you. So I would like to quote two advanced rulings that have come in this regard. One is that Chaugle, other is Khatwani. Chaugle says that yes, availability of credit is available to you, you can take the credit. And Khatwani says saying that no, the credit is not available, you cannot take the credit. Anyway, issue is to be is being debated, but to be on the safe side, one should always follow path of least resistance and path of no disputes. Now, as I mentioned it to you, because of limitation of time, I am not discussing, but there are a lot of issues they have listed here and you can see them, and these are the issues probably you will come across in your difficult times. In your having this thing, please look into the manual, please look into the information available on CBSE. Another 4 set of issues I have listed out for you. Look into CBSE, talk to your consultant and take a path which is less headache. Do not confront with the fact saying that today I may make some profit, but later I will look into it. Choice is yours because at any time these issues will crop up. At any time department may rise up to issue show cause notices. At that time you will have unnecessarily burden because you would have sold that material with less tax and later realizing from the taxpayer would be very difficult. So I just listed out those questions, those issues, and in case you want to raise some questions, they have given 5 minutes you can raise. In case you want to communicate to us, even though I am not right now looking after GST, I have given my mobile number, I have given my email address, you can always send it to us. Not only me, you can talk to our department CBSE. CBSE has a Twitter, CBSE has a lot of questionnaires, CBSE has a lot of trade facilitation measures that they have taken. Any one of them you can take it up and I am very sure department would come forward to do that. Thank you. I hope I am up to the time.
So maybe you can take that mic, and thank you very much. You are very much on time. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to open the floor for some of your questions. Can you please raise your hand and we'll arrange for the mic to be sent to you. Any questions for Mr. S.K. Rahman? Should I wait for some time, or if there are no questions, then maybe we could give those minutes to Mr. Rahman to finish? Okay, yeah, we have one question. Please give us your name, sir, and then you can go ahead with your question. Yeah.
Hello, sir. My name is Parth.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So GST is liable only on the difference amount or the what we call the difference of the supply amount between the buying and selling on the used vehicles.
Say it again. Can you be more clear and loud?
In case of exchange or used vehicles, the GST is liable only on the difference amount between the buying price and the selling price. So sir, what about the refurbishment cost? Is that allowable?
You are talking about exchange. In the exchange system, I mentioned it to you that one has to go, if possible, to the extent possible, the open market value of the vehicle that is being exchanged, and tax is to be charged on that.
Sir,
If I'm coming to that. I'm coming. Understood. If open market value is not available, then we'll have to look into the vehicle costing. So the refurnishing issue that you are saying, in case you are not exchanging something but refurnishing, so that will come into other than the open market value. If you want, I can quote you the rule also.
No, sir, I'm talking about the used vehicle.
And used vehicle. In used vehicle also, if you are doing the refurnishing thing, the refurnishing element, whatever be the cost towards the refurnishing, will have to be taken into consideration. It will become a part of the supply.
It will become the part of the cost as well, right?
A part of the cost for whom?
So sir, let's say I purchased a vehicle for 1 lakh rupees and then
Correct.
I refurbished for, let's say, 10,000 rupees. So my cost itself is 1,10,000. If I'm selling it for, let's say, 1,50,000, so my margin is only 40,000 rupees.
No, you are getting refurnished from the person from whom you are buying
Sir,
separately.
In case of used vehicle, we are buying from a consumer only, right?
No, the person he is buying from the automobile dealer, or person is buying
Sir,
from an individual.
Automobile dealer is purchasing from an individual.
Acha, automobile dealer is purchasing from an individual.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay.
So, and then
That means
selling
he's-
it to another consumer.
So at the time of purchase, his selling is not confirmed. He is only purchasing from an individual customer.
Yeah.
Right. So that is transaction number one when he is purchasing and the cost is that is available. So you can evaluate, you can pay the tax. I hope that is clear on that.
Sir, in this case, the law says that GST is applicable only on the difference amount between the purchase price and the selling price.
The two different supplies. That's what I am trying to make you understand. When the customer is selling it to the dealer is purchasing that old car from a customer. So that is transaction number one. So whatever the consideration available there, so tax has to be paid. If that particular customer is unregistered as an individual, in reverse charge mechanism, the dealer will have to bear the cost along with the GST. Transaction one. Now the transaction, now the dealer after purchasing is going to refurnish it. When he is going to refurnish, whatever the cost, it is cost to him. But he is going to refurnish on his own expenses. He is going to refurnish from the raw materials and other goods, inputs that on which he has taken the credit. So the refurnishing amount that into the value addition will become a part. So when he sells a refurnished car, that cost of that refurnished car will include the refurnishing element also. So he has to pay on the output, that is the refurnished car, including the car original cost plus the refurnishing.
Sir, I think there was a clarification in the law which asked that the tax is liable only on the margin of supply, which is defined
that is
as.
I am aware of that. Cases
yeah.
have been also booked on that. Maybe I can talk to individually.
Sure.
So that particular differential thing is allowed in a specific cases. I'll show you the rule and make you understand.
Sure.
Recently, almost I think 7-8 months before this issue has come up, major with one particular taxpayer. Maybe you are talking, keeping that in view. I'm aware of that. And there the department issued show cause notice, went ahead, charging. He is a big, one of the very big second-hand dealer cars. So there went ahead issuing, GST notice to him. So I'm not saying whether it is finality is achieved or not. So that particular differential cost is applicable in some other cases, which I will explain to you separately if you want. Okay.
Well, I understand GST is quite a complicated topic to understand. We may need a separate conclave altogether on it. But thank you, sir. Really appreciate you answering that question. Any more questions? If I can quickly accommodate one more, and then we'll have to wrap up. We have a gentleman raising hand.
Good evening, sir. So in the same case, if there is no refurbishment included, and we buy a car, suppose for 1 lakh from an individual buyer, and sell it for suppose 1,20,000. So we have to pay GST only on the 20,000 at the rate of 5%. So as far as RCM is concerned, I don't think this buying from individual is notified for RCM. If we buy from some individual a good and that is not notified for RCM, then why we have to pay the RCM amount or on GST?
So if you advise me, I'll keep the transactions less cumbersome for you, breaking into the two parts. When you are purchasing the car from the customer, if you are paying the tax on the RCM basis, it is mentioned in the notification also, then that amount of tax that you have paid is with you only, because you can take the credit of that. It is already on your ITC thing. Now when you sell the car again, so whatever the tax that you are supposed to pay, you will be utilizing the ITC that is available.
So, but if it is not notified for RCM when we are buying from some individual, so then why we have to pay the tax on RCM basis when we are buying from individual? This is not notified for RCM services when we are buying from some individual.
I will quote you the notification serial number, probably if you can give us the number. So wherein we can show you that better approach would be to break it into two elements and take.
So that would be an extra cost to the dealer, and his credit would be blocked for say suppose 2 months, 3 months until he sells the car.
It will not be blocked. It's a continuous process. Your purchases are continuously coming, your inputs, your output also sales are going continuously. It is not any blockage of any credit. It will be a continuous flow only.
When we are purchasing and if we pay the tax on RCM at the rate of say 28%, then that amount would be blocked till we sell that car and utilize that ITC. And then when it is not notified for RCM, then why should we pay the RCM on it?
I will show you the notification and come back to you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you for your questions, and thank you, Mr. Rahman, for really coming here and clarifying a lot on this very important and complicated topic. I'm going to request Mr. Sanskar Gupta, Chairperson of FADA UP, to please come up on stage and felicitate Mr. Rahman. Can I have Mr. Sanskar Gupta? Okay, I think he might have just stepped out for a few minutes. Sir, can I please request you? Yeah, can we please get our token of appreciation for Mr. S.K. Rahman? Please put your hands together for a wonderful keynote address on auto retail and GST, clarifying a lot on a very complicated topic and really setting the tone for our conversation ahead. Sir, really appreciate you joining us here this evening. Thank you very much.